The 1920s marked a period of profound transformation in American society, and Texas was no exception. Much of this change grew out of reforms introduced during the Progressive Era, which had dramatically reshaped urban life. Cities were cleaner, healthier, and more modern than they had been at the turn of the century. Streets that once streamed with sewage and the remains of dead horses were transformed as automobiles replaced horse-drawn transportation, eliminating both congestion and waste. Electricity further altered the urban landscape, brightening cities and expanding opportunities for entertainment, particularly through motion pictures, which became a central feature of urban culture. Electricity also transformed daily life inside the home. Tasks that had once required hours of manual labor, laundering clothes, cleaning floors, or drying hair, could now be completed quickly with electric appliances. Radio, too, became increasingly prominent as commercial stations proliferated. For Americans in the 1920s, radio occupied a cultural role similar to that of television in later decades, shaping shared experiences and connecting households to national news and entertainment. Yet rapid modernization produced anxiety as well as opportunity. Cities offered anonymity and freedoms unavailable in small towns, allowing people to engage in behaviors that older generations considered morally suspect. Young women, in particular, embraced new forms of independence, wearing what critics deemed provocative clothing, dancing, and consuming alcohol despite prohibition. To many conservative Americans, these developments signaled moral decline. At the same time, the nation experienced a dramatic surge in immigration, particularly from Eastern Europe and Russia in the aftermath of the Russian Revolution. Between 1918 and 1920, annual immigration doubled from roughly 400,000 to 800,000. For many Americans, this influx, combined with fears about urban immorality, fueled a powerful cultural backlash. That backlash found its most organized expression in the resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan. Revived in 1915 at Stone Mountain, Georgia, the Klan expanded nationwide and arrived in Texas by 1920. Unlike its Reconstruction-era predecessor, largely secretive and focused on suppressing formerly enslaved people and Republican voters, the 1920s Klan operated openly and enjoyed broad support. Membership was limited to native-born white Protestants, explicitly excluding Catholics, Jews, immigrants, and non-whites. The Klan positioned itself as a defender of moral order, offering certainty amid rapid social change. Popular culture played a central role in the Klan's growth. The 1915 film The Birth of a Nation, based on the Klansman, portrayed African Americans as dangerous and depicted the Klan as heroic protectors of Southern society. The film resonated with white audiences across the country and was even screened at the White House, with quotations attributed to President Woodrow Wilson reinforcing its message. Klan members actively recruited moviegoers, contributing to a peak membership of approximately 5 million by 1925. The Klan's message proved particularly attractive in Texas, where anti-immigrant sentiment often targeted Mexican and Mexican-American Catholics. Its popularity was strongest in urban areas such as Houston and Dallas, so much so that the Klan moved its national headquarters to Dallas. The movement's openness distinguished it further from its earlier incarnation. Muin! Imperial wizard Hiram Wesley Evans appeared publicly in Klan robes, even gracing the cover of Time magazine, and the Klan marched openly through major cities, including Washington, D.C. The Klan also pursued political power. By electing its members to office, it hoped to legislate its vision of 100% Americanism. In Texas, this strategy yielded early success. In 1922, following the adoption of the 17th Amendment, which made U.S. senators directly elected by voters, the Klan supported Earl Mayfield in the Democratic primary. With the Democratic Party dominating Texas politics, victory in the primary effectively guaranteed election. Mayfield defeated incumbent Senator Charles Culberson, whose poor health and opposition to the Klan weakened his campaign. Former Governor James E. Ferguson also entered the race, despite having been impeached and barred from state office, arguing, controversially, that the prohibition did not apply to federal office. Ultimately, Mayfield prevailed, marking the height of Klan political influence in the state. Just as quickly as it rose, however, the Klan's power began to erode. Despite its success, the organization never renounced violence, targeting not only African Americans but also Catholics, Jews, Mexicans, and Mexican Americans. Over time, the Klan increasingly acted as a moral police force, punishing adulterers and dishonest businesspeople through beatings, tarring and feathering, and firebombings. When the Klan turned against the white Protestant middle class, the very group that had sustained it, public support collapsed. This decline became evident in the 1924 Texas gubernatorial election. While the Klan-backed Felix Robertson, anti-Klan voters rallied behind Miriam Ma Ferguson, the wife of impeached former Governor James Ferguson. Her victory made her the first woman elected governor of a U.S. state, though her administration effectively restored her husband's political influence. The Fergusons' corruption soon disillusioned Texans, leading to Ma Ferguson's defeat by Attorney General Dan Moody in 1926. By then, the Klan's resurgence in Texas was largely over. Meanwhile, the Texas economy appeared to be thriving. The decade became known as the Roaring Twenties, though prosperity was uneven. Agriculture, long the backbone of the state's economy, struggled, with volatile cotton prices harming rural communities. In contrast, oil production surged. New discoveries in the Permian Basin and East Texas transformed the state into a global energy powerhouse. By 1928, Texas produced 20% of the world's oil, and by 1929, oil surpassed cotton in value for the first time, diversifying the state's economy. This prosperity proved fragile. In October 1929, the stock market crash triggered the Great Depression, wiping out billions of dollars and devastating banks nationwide. Texas suffered as demand for both cotton and oil collapsed. Cotton prices fell to 5 cents per pound, while oil production, ironically increased in response to falling prices, drove petroleum values even lower. By 1932, oil sold for as little as 5 cents per barrel, prompting Governor Ross Sterling to deploy the National Guard to shut down renegade producers. Economic collapse was soon compounded by environmental disaster. Beginning in 1931, drought struck the Great Plains. Decades of intensive farming and overgrazing had uprooted native grasses, leaving soil vulnerable to wind erosion. Massive dust storms, later known as the Dust Bowl, destroyed farms, buried homes, and displaced millions, a tragedy immortalized in the Grapes of Wrath. The Great Depression fundamentally altered Americans' relationship with government. Initially, Texans looked to local and state authorities for relief, but these institutions proved incapable of addressing the crisis. Federal intervention expanded dramatically after Franklin D. Roosevelt's election in 1932, which Texans supported overwhelmingly. Roosevelt's New Deal brought unprecedented federal investment to Texas, including rural electrification, public works programs, and employment relief, though benefits often excluded tenant farmers and African Americans. The New Deal reshaped both Texas and national politics. It elevated figures such as Lyndon B. Johnson, who began his career administering New Deal youth programs before entering Congress and bringing electricity to the Hill Country. At the same time, it deepened divisions within the Texas Democratic Party between progressive New Dealers and conservative opponents wary of federal expansion. Despite these tensions, Texans consistently supported Roosevelt, solidifying the New Deal's transformative legacy in the state.